Then the other thing, which he's quoted me a number of times on, had to do with anger and hostility. And he asked me, he said, Dr. Beck, you've been here for a long time, what do you think about anger? And I said, I thought that 90% of the anger that people feel in everyday life, just ordinary interpersonal relations, that 90% of it is probably unjustified, is unnecessary. And then I explained to him my theory about why people overreact with anger is that when they're in a situation where they get angry right away, there's a certain mechanism that's going on, and the very first thought, which they're not aware of, it's so fast, is that they feel that they are being devalued and or they're being threatened in some way, and they get angry right away because they think they're being devalued and that is wrong and the other person is offensive. But they don't even know that. They don't know that they're getting angry because because they see themselves as devalued. They think that that the other person is intruding on them, or the other person is being unfair, and so on. But they don't realize that there's a big drop in the self-esteem, and the feeling they get before they get angry is a feeling of hurt or sadness, or sometimes just a bit of anxiety. Now, if they can capture that little feeling beforehand, see what the feeling is, and see what the belief is beneath it, they usually will find that the belief is greatly exaggerated, and that the anger then is an exaggerated response based on an exaggerated belief, which is manifested in an automatic thought. And somebody, one of the questions here was actually which comes first, beliefs or automatic thoughts. And of course, we can get to that question in a minute, but sometimes the belief is so much out front that you start with that. But I think it's extremely valuable, if insofar as possible, to train people in catching the automatic thoughts, and particularly in the case of anger, because I think that's one thing where cognitive therapists have not been sharp enough, and they have not really trained the patients well enough to be able to pick up the automatic thoughts. So anyhow, that's what I told the Dalai Lama, and so he cited me in the book. He felt that that was an insight that he got. But maybe Judy was there with her things.
Yes, well, you gave him another insight, because he asked you about a chronic condition that he has, which I think was something that made his neck very itchy, and it really bothered him a lot.
Yeah.
And you gave him some good advice about that.
Yeah, he said, "Can you help me with my itch?" Yeah. So anyhow.
And again, I think you helped him change his focus away from that. But there was something else you did about that itch too, which helped him just put it in better perspective, because when it would start getting itchy, I think he would get tense about it.
Yeah.
And I think you helped him just shift his perspective with that.